All right, those are the top mid-caps that are in focus. Of course, we'll discuss them in greater details and a lot more. But for the markets, we are extending gains and it is a 120-point uptick on the Nifty at the day's high. The banking index is contributing to that with gains of around 300 points. And across the board, there are strong gains ahead of the midweek holiday that we have tomorrow. So looking good, the advance decline ratio in favor of the advances. But of course, a lot of stocks which are reacting to their earnings as well, which came over the weekend. So let's do one thing. Let's talk about one of those earnings. Vishnu Chemicals posted a strong set of Q1 numbers supported by a low base. However, the numbers were very strong on a quarter-on-quarter basis as well, and the company has reported its highest quarterly sales, EBITDA, margins and profits as well. We are now joined by the Joint Managing Director of the company, Siddartha, to discuss the earnings and the outlook going forward as well. Siddartha, good afternoon. Thanks a lot for joining us. Well, it's a strong growth. You've seen an 82% growth on a YY basis. Even on a sequential basis, revenues have grown up by 17.5%. Give us a sense of what is the volume growth and what is the realization growth on a YY basis. What was it driven by?
Thank you very much for having me again. I'd like to start off by saying these set of numbers are reminiscent of the heavy lifting we have done over the years at a plant level and as well as the product mix what we have developed. Coming back to your question, in terms of volume growth, the volume growth was in line with the guidance given during the last call is that 17% volume growth is in line, as well as value growth is continuing from our value-added product mix.
Siddartha, morning, afternoon. When we last spoken to you, you had spoken about margins in the range of 18 to 19% and a revenue growth of 50%. Considering how Q1 has shaped up for you very strong, do you think you can better the FY23 revenue and margin guidance?
Indeed, we can. Given the backward integration is, it's coping up well. Especially this is the first quarter of the full operations. Although it's still at a 50% operating level, we are very confident that it will go up to 70 to 80% in the coming quarters during this financial year.
Okay, so that is in chromium chemistry that you're saying.
That's right.
So if you said it'll go up to say 70% utilization levels, at peak utilization, what is the revenue coming in? And when will you reach peak utilization levels as far as this backward integration of the unit is concerned?
We are targeting to achieve the peak utilization level, which is upwards of 80% by end of this calendar year.
I'm sorry?
We are targeting to achieve the peak utilization of our backward integration by end of this
and what would the revenues at that peak utilization levels be from this new unit?
The backward integration is supporting us with respect to our margin growth, not necessarily the revenue.
Yes, I get it. I'm just saying once it comes on stream, what kind of growth are you expecting in the chromium segment as a whole?
You're already witnessing that. I could give you a guidance for this year. The upwards of 30% on the volume as well as the value, it's already witnessing. So that's where we are.
Okay.
Once the debottlenecking and the capacity expansion for the chromium is done, what would be the expected revenue addition?
We are looking at an upwards of 35% on the revenue growth, and given that the backward integration is also picking up well, there will be a further improvement in the EBITDA, looking at a 200-300 basis point of improvement from where we are today.
Chromium, but you have something in barium chemistry as well. Operating levels for expansion in barium is around 10%. You expect it to improve by end of this year. How much will you improve it by? And can you give us a split of how much of revenue is coming in from chromium, how much is coming from barium, and what kind of growth levels are you expecting? 50% on an average. How much from each segments?
In our barium facility, I think the second line has come online, although the Q1, the operating levels were not up to the mark because, certain post-operative technical glitch what we have faced, but we are very confident on the coming quarters. We are expecting a 40% increase in the volumes on the barium vertical.
Okay.
In terms of split, it's as per, a previous guidance of 75% of the revenues are coming from chromium chemistry and 25% is coming from barium.
Okay. And when you talk about margin expansion because of backward integration, how much of a margin expansion can you expect from there?
We're expecting a 300 to 400 basis point.
Okay.
All right. What is the biggest risk, according to you, for your revenues and margins?
You see what's happening in Europe with this gas prices and availability of gas. We are hearing some slowdown from our customers. In that part of the globe. However, we see some strong demand from the U.S. Clients. Who are capitalizing on this situation where the gas prices and energy prices in US are still relatively competitive over the Europe. So we are seeing more demand from the Americas. That's where our focus is at the moment.
So is competition also rising in terms of your market positioning? Who are your competitors? I just wanted to understand, are chromium and barium commodity chemicals, are the prices very volatile? Because yes, right now things are looking on the upside, but as Rima asked you, what could the risks be? Is it high raw material prices, or do you expect this momentum to continue for a while now?
We expect this momentum to continue. Our peers are mainly in North America, in Turkey and South Africa. I think there hasn't a lot of capacity expansion over the last few years, and the demand has remained rather resilient over the years. So I think we don't see a lot of change happening. And given our order book, also we are very confident about the coming quarters.
What could FY24 look like? We've been talking about FY23 and how, revenue growth will be close to about 50%. What about thereafter? Could you paint a little bit of a longer picture for us?
Yeah, well, we're looking at diversifying our barium portfolio. A new specialty, which is a paint filler, is going to come online during the first half of FY24. So we are working in the direction and very excited about this new product.
Okay, all right. So that was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us all those details. That's the word coming from Vishnu Chemicals. Strong set of numbers. They expect a revenue growth of 50% with volume growth of 17% in FY23. And once the backward integration in their chromium segment actually kicks through, they'll see a